Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff, Charlie Adam and Tam McManus here with me on the show today. Delighted you could join us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, tell your friends, share the stream, and of course over and above that you can hit the bell and you'll get all the notifications of when we're live. If there's 12 days of sunshine ahead, Ruffy, it could be shorts every day on the show, and of course you just seem to be embracing it with Tam. You two look as if you've got a bit of the sun.
Yeah, I threw out a golf challenge to Tam and his mate to come to my place at Dullitter, and unfortunately the boy that Tam brought had a hole-in-one, which was fantastic. And any golfing people out there, there's not many times you get a hole-in-one. There's not many times you actually see, somebody getting. Yeah. But there were 3 up at the time, so it didn't make any difference.
Any drinks?
No, he never. He came in and he had a soda and lime.
It's not good.
I had to make up for him.
It's not good. The other thing I was going to say to you as well now is, Charlie, and this is what you were talking about only last week, now that they're hanging about together, they're starting to phone each other at night and see if they're okay. I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, that's what, Ruffy's a fair weather friend. He's like, he goes in wee phases of playing tennis and golf with somebody, then he'll phone them, and then nothing. Tam will get that cold shoulder in about 3 months once the winter kicks in.
It's disgusting. The relationship they've got at the moment, Peter's, it's not good. So,
just want to tell you, I was friends with you from the Rangers days to the St Mirren loan.
That's why I'm here.
The whole thing.
That's why I'm here.
This is it. That's what it's all about. Loyalty. Don't forget that
when
you start kissing the badge and then leave us for Hibs TV.
I wasn't at a club long enough to kiss a badge.
Well, listen, we've got lots to talk about. Sometimes, in football, you get a little sad story that kind of catches you on the hop, and certainly today from the Press and Journal, the story that Gordon Wallace has been diagnosed with dementia. Yet another one of the players from the 60s and 70s, and Gordon Wallace, I think it's fair to say, for me, is a Dundee legend, although he's associated with, of course, Dundee United and Raith Rovers as well. But for me, he's a Dundee legend. I can still remember in the pouring rain at Hampden, his daisy cutter to win the League Cup against Celtic in 1973, Charlie, when you were, I don't even think you were born.
No, absolutely not. But he's well recommended, and he pictures on the wall and that, and it's a shame. And like I say, the football club will obviously show support and for his family and for Gordon himself. But I heard about it a couple of weeks ago when I was in the nice place of Broughty Ferry having a coffee. Somebody I was talking to mentioned it, and it's a sad state of affairs. But let's say we're here for him, and hopefully we gets the praise because he was a terrific footballer.
Yeah, absolutely. I worked with him, Ruffy, in my radio days, and I always enjoyed his company. I mean, the tales alone of his playing days, and not many people of a certain vintage will be aware of the fact that Gordon Wallace was a prolific goal scorer, and what he is in the top 5 Premier League goal scorers since it started in 75 onwards.
Yeah, I think if you look at the record books and see the goals that he scored, I mean, we always talk about the guys for Rangers, guys for Celtic, but if you're a Dundee supporter, you remember these things and you remember these players, and it was a fantastic side they had then. Then he came through, even when he stopped playing, he became a coach, didn't he? And he was there. I don't think he became the manager, did he? Was he a manager for a wee while? Maybe not. I know he was a coach, and he was at the club with Jockey Scott and them for a long, long time.
He was Dundee United as well, wasn't he? Under Jim and things like that. So well respected in the area.
And of course, I'm glad you mentioned the Dundee side, because they're a great goalkeeper at the time. I always thought he was a good goalkeeper. I wonder if you can remember his name.
I'd go for Bet Slater.
No, Thompson Allen. Do you remember Thompson Allen?
Thompson Allen was the goalkeeper that went with Scotland in 1974 for the 3rd goalkeeper instead of me. Yeah,
is that right? Yep. Well, Thompson Allen.
Good.
No, he was good, all right.
Wasn't the tallest.
No, but good shot stopper. Thompson Allen.
Didn't think it justified getting to the 74 World Cup.
Wipe that chip off your shoulder.
I was young at the time, and they took him.
And Bobby Ford played for Dundee at the time. Jockey Scott was in that Dundee side. And of course Gordon Wallace as well. I was trying to remember.
The big boy at the back, Ian Phillip.
Oh yeah, I remember him with the moustache.
Player,
yeah. So there you are. Just a wee bit of a trip down memory lane, but I think I speak for everyone when we say our thoughts are with Gordon, his family, and the difficult road ahead. We mentioned it only yesterday when we were talking about Terry McDermott, but it's something, a disease which, as people grow older, and especially the percentage increase for people who've played professional sport, certainly with dementia, is there for everybody. The evidence is out there, but we wish them the very best. Okay, big news. Rangers, Alashkert. It'll kick off at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We're hoping that Rangers can produce a performance that gets them through into the group stages. But Charlie, the COVID seems to have struck. No Steven Gerrard. At this moment, we are led to believe Tavernier, Wright, Kent, Bassey, McGregor and McLaughlin all out. Here's potentially the team that could line up in that game, and it's still got a bit of quality about it. Okay, McCrory in goal, but Patterson, Goldson, Helander, Barisic, Arfield, Davis, Kamara, Aribo, Morelos and Hadji. That's still a good team.
Yeah, listen, that team should be able to beat Alashkert. Obviously, I was at the game last week and Rangers just never got firing, and losing the man late in the first half obviously changed the game. But they got the goal and they got the lead, so I'd still expect Rangers to go through, but not to have your manager and the individuals there that are missing will be a blow, but they have to bounce back from it. It's going to be a tough game in the middle of heat, and 4 o'clock in the afternoon over there is going to be a tough game for Rangers, but I'd expect them to win this game.
Well, this is massive, and I think they need this like a hole in the head. The whole COVID, it's obviously weakened them, but again, as Charlie mentioned here, it's going to be hot as well. I didn't think they offered too much in the home leg at Ibrox, Alashkert, but you never know, Tam, what they could do. I mean, they've got a couple of useful players from Portugal as well, Brazilians in there.
Listen, I just don't see Rangers losing this tie. I think that they've got far too much quality. I watched the game last week and I thought they were poor. I think Rangers' B team could go over there and get the result. I don't think there's any problem whatsoever. The big problem is it looking ahead to the Old Firm game. How many of these guys are going to be back? I think that team on paper that you just showed there is fine.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper.
I think apart from the goalkeeper, that's a team that actually played in one of the Old Firm games.
Yeah, that team's capable of beating Celtic. There's no doubt about it. But the goalkeeper's the issue. Alan McGregor's been fantastic in Old Firm games.
Patterson's been talked about.
Yeah, Patterson's been talked about. So that team is strong enough, but it's just the goalkeeping situation and looking ahead to the weekend. But I don't see Rangers having any problems whatsoever against Alashkert tomorrow.
Yeah, Ruffy, do you see any problems for them?
No, I don't. I think, as Charlie said, I think the heat is supposed to be unbelievable at that time. That's something they'll have to get round, but they're all fit guys, super fit guys. And that team, as I say, in the last round just drew with the Welsh team, Conan Nomads.
Yeah, you're not having it, are you?
No, one each at home against a Welsh side, and Rangers are far superior to that kind of...
Just in case there's any Connor Key fans out there.
Just in case any Connor Keys fans out there.
I went in trial to them once.
Yeah.
Connor's Nomads, you've just made up a
nomad.
Connor's Nomad.
It's just a nomad, isn't it?
Yeah. You don't rate them.
No, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
If you can't beat them at home, you're not going to beat Rangers.
Right, so comfortable win for Rangers?
2-0.
2-0, Charlie?
Yeah, 2-0.
Yeah, it's vital to get into the draw the next day, Europa League group stages. Of course, it's not as much money as the Champions League, but still.
Yeah, it's finance. It's good finances still. Rangers have done well in the last couple of years in Europe and in this competition. So if they can get into these group stages, it will bring extra revenue and good nights at Ibrox. So hopefully they can get through.
Yep. You can give us your thoughts on that match. Rangers good enough for the squad they have available to get through comfortably. Give us your thoughts on that. And just incidentally, you will be aware, we usually try and play it at some point during the programme. Might as well hear from our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi on this special shirt giveaway with the big game coming up, Rangers against Celtic on Sunday.
This week at PLZ Soccer, we're giving away both a Rangers and a Celtic jersey ahead of Sunday's Old Firm. All you've got to do to win this Rangers top is subscribe to the YouTube channel and comment on the live show saying Rangers. To win this Celtic jersey, all you've got to do is subscribe to the PLZ Soccer YouTube channel and comment on the live show saying Celtic. Don't forget, it's the Old Firm giveaway special. You could win a Rangers or a Celtic jersey. Just subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, and the football show, don't forget, is every day at 4 o'clock.
all you have to do in the feed is put Rangers or Celtic, depending on which jersey you want to win, and hit the subscribe button, and you're in. And then we'll select a lucky winner of the Rangers jersey on Friday and a lucky winner of the Celtic jersey as well. Sorry, it has to be just the one size that we have there, Ruffy. So if it's a little bit tight and somebody, they're going to have to get out and run. It's as simple as that, Ruffy, isn't it?
Some people might have to run a lot.
Anyway, how expensive are they?
Sorry?
The expense?
Oh, let me tell you, by the way,
Both clubs?
they are hefty. You could pay over £100 if you wanted the full kit, Tam. It's a good point Charlie makes. It's expensive.
You got the Celtic strip cheaper bit because of your season ticket, did you know?
Yeah, you get that, don't you? Yeah.
Discount.
You wouldn't get it. You'd have to pay full price, though, wouldn't you? Because
probably.
obviously you're a Hibs fan. Okay. You're going to fire it out, you're going to get it back. As simple as that. Anyway, if you want to win the Rangers Celtics, if it's a revelation, Charlie. Oh, for God's sake.
Any comments yet? No?
No. They're coming. People are putting in which shirt they want to win. So Rangers, fingers crossed, in the draw Friday morning. What about Celtic? 2-0 advantage, Ruffy, away to AZ Alkmaar. Confident?
Not overconfident. You know, we all know that 2-0 can be very vulnerable if they score, and then it makes it very, very difficult. I think I saw enough in the first game for them. They are no bad side, and they created a lot of chances at Parkhead. For me, it's up to Celtic, you know, to get a goal. If they get a goal, I think they'll be safe. But I think if they lose a goal, it could be a nervy 90 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought they were technically good, Tam. I watched the game and I thought they had a couple of chances, a couple of good saves from Joe Hart. So over there, it's going to be a different proposition. But again, the manager's adamant they're not going to go and sit in there.
No, I think this will be a very, very hard game. I thought if Alkmaar had taken their chances early in that tie at Parkhead, it would have been a totally different game. You know, the save of Joe Hart with his foot in the first 5-10 minutes was massive. But I think this could go extra time penalties. I think this could. Yeah, I think the Alkmaar are capable of winning by 2 goals. I was impressed with them. They just never took their chances on the day. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Alkmaar, and I think it'll go to extra time and penalties possibly.
Wow, there you are. That's a revelation from your man there. He's on a blistering run at the moment. You're just you and I in the lead at the moment, isn't it?
I don't know where the rest of the folk are.
2 behind.
He's never got the result right Sunday, did you?
Yeah, no, by the way, Charlie,
They went for Dundee draw, did they?
I have to tell you, Charlie, at one point, and I'm not going to be two-faced because
you were celebrating.
I was 2-1 Hibs and I thought, oh yeah, Dad, here's another 5 points, and then of course I thought they deserved their draw.
They did deserve a draw. I had 3-1 in the predictor, and when that ball came across to Jamie Murphy, I was like, Murphy!
I know. You should have heard his goal commentary by the way. Shouting out and everything, unbelievable. But anyway, apart from anything else, there is obviously the possibility of players that could be going from all clubs in Scotland. The last thing you want to do is lose some of your key players. Ange Postecoglou's been talking about that because there is the possibility that maybe Edouard, possibly Ryan Christie, could be heading out the door before that transfer window closes. The Celtic manager says they have other options.
We've got contingency plans in place, and we're talking to a number of sort of targets to see what business we can do. But we still need 1 or 2 more in the group for sure, and that's what we'll do. What positions? Again, that may depend a little bit on who may or may not be leaving. So and on that front, there's nothing really concrete that's happened yet.
Yeah, so nothing concrete. But I woke up this morning, Ruffy, and I thought to myself, you know, if certain players do go, they've got contingency plans. They've obviously made moves. Some in the background scurrying away. You've got your nose to the ground as well. But there's nothing worse when you do actually break a story which has actually gathered pace and has happened. Nothing worse than somebody who's an editor turns round to a pundit and says, why don't you write a column rubbishing the story? I mean, that's just outrageous, Ruffy, isn't it? I mean, would that have happened this morning? I mean, I don't know. I mean, the word they used was bogus. Yes, I couldn't believe it. I wonder what happened there. I mean, can you bite the hand that feeds you? Honestly, unbelievable, Ruffy. And I'll tell you right now, if that deal happens, I'll be on the phone leathering him and all the other would-be pundits who've tried to rubbish it.
Are we talking about the Nisbet and Griffiths deal here?
Yeah. I mean, they can't listen. The point is, Charlie, They've got it. They're trying to get rid of him.
They are.
The game's up for him.
Yeah, but I think I'm in Tam's court. I don't think the deal will happen.
No, that's not the issue. The issue is the wheels have been in motion to try and make it happen. Hibs have been digging in because Tam says they want a considerable amount of money. If they have to take Griffiths in the pot, they want a major pot of money.
Yeah, but I still don't think Hibs will take Griffiths.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll happen.
That's what I was saying.
I think Celtic might come for Nisbet.
Yeah.
But I don't think Jack Ross would take the Griffiths deal.
Yeah. I think, Ruffy, as you know, in the world of transfers, the issue is not that. It's the story of that's what they've been mooting. That's what they've been trying to put forward.
Yeah, I would like to think that Celtic are interested in a quality centre forward. You know, somebody for the future. What was the last bids that came in from? Who was it down in England?
Birmingham.
Much?
It was about 3 million, just under
3 million, and
Yeah.
I've said to you already, 3 million's nothing to Celtic. You know, Celtic have been buying
Fairman have got a
buying
big,
abroad.
It was 3 million
they've got
too much
30,
from again.
40%.
So
Yeah, but I
That's
think
an
they've went.
interesting.
What was
Tam's
that?
just mentioned there, didn't
Fairman
Fairman?
have got a big sell on. I think it's 20 or 30% of the
Well,
deal.
these things get negotiated, you know, by certain clubs, you know, and you have to come to some kind of deal. The point I'm making is, do we agree that is he worth 4 million at this precise moment?
If
Do you know what?
to be fair, I am the man that puts the money above people's heads.
Hold on a minute. Don't open your mouth.
That's David Dickinson.
Actually, can I tell you something? The amount of people who have said, I'm not commenting until Charlie's on, till he decides what
Set the
fee
price,
is.
Charles.
So he said it. Don't set the price
Okay.
now, Charlie. I don't think he's worth 4 million. Now, that's just me. Ruffy?
I think the way that Celtic are buying players abroad for 4 million, 5 million, I don't think 3 million's a big deal.
No, I never
to
asked you
Celtic.
that.
3 million, yeah, I'd pay 3 million for
No, I
him.
never asked you that either.
What are you saying?
I said, is it worth 4 million?
Not 4.
He's worth 3.
So he's worth 3.
Yeah.
Right, hold on. Tam.
I think he's excellent. I think his best years are ahead of him. I think if he goes to the English Championship and bangs in 10, 15 goals, he goes for 8. So
It's a
Is he worth 4 million?
It's a different
Yes.
level. It's a different level down in the
no,
championship.
I know that.
Is he worth 4 million?
For me, yeah. Yes, he is.
Okay, Charlie, and now the
Nope.
price is about to be set.
Nope. It's not worth 4 million.
Yeah, what is he worth?
2.5, 3 million quid.
Yeah, with Griffiths in the mix.
No, I think the Griffiths deal would have to be separate.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the wages of Griffiths will be more than what Hibs can pay you.
yeah.
So they'll have to add that up
I
as
think
well.
there's going to be a major sweetener from Celtic if they were
It's
going to
got
do
to
that
be.
deal.
It's
Yeah.
got to be. And also you're saying that Dunfermline on 20%. So 20% of 3 million quid,
Yeah.
600 grand. Hibs are only getting 2.4 million. It's not a lot. It's not enough.
Well worth it, by the way.
Yeah.
It's roughly.
I have to check if we've got a sell on, because he started with us.
He's
Yeah,
released
he's
him, did you
trained
know?
Ah, still.
You
Jerry
check the
would
training
have
fee?
Jerry would have had a one.
Who released him?
I think the wee boy sort of went off the rails a wee bit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He was only a young
Gary
boy at the
Caldwell?
time. No, I think it was before Gary.
All
I
right.
don't know who it was.
Davy McParlin?
No,
No.
David.
Colin?
I don't know that far back.
Colin.
Call.
Don't say it was
Time around.
Colin, no.
Anyway,
Still got a phone call
listen,
tonight.
apart from anything else, the other thing that Ange Postecoglou was talking about, which has been this whole situation surrounding Kyogo Furuhashi. Rangers responded quickly, banned the fans. Some of the supporters who are not involved in this had to suffer the pain of the ban as well. Ange Postecoglou says he wasn't impressed with Rangers banning fans. It's what had to happen. I think his general feeling on this was, the overall behaviour of people is called into question here. This is what he had to say about the Rangers banning the fans.
I don't think Rangers acted because, they wanted to impress anyone. I'd like to think it's just people see right and wrong and just deal with it. I said yesterday that this doesn't need endless debates on whether it's talk radio on TV on what should happen or why it happened. It's wrong. We know it's wrong. It's not something that anyone sees any grey in.
Yeah, I think Ange Postecoglou, I think while accepting that Rangers were quick to do it, I think he was questioning the overall behaviour of people. He was talking about, people have mentioned education. He says, no, it's common decency. You know, you can understand why Rangers has done it, but it's common decency how you should behave. But I think if he doesn't think that that's going to be debated endlessly in Scotland on every social platform and every TV programme, radio programme, digital programme, then he's in for a rude awakening in the winter months ahead, because this country just goes into what I call crazy mode.
Yeah, welcome to Scotland, Ange. That's the world that we're in. The Rangers have done what they have to do. They've got to ban the supporters. That, by the way, these are supporters that are travelling to the game on a bus, not inside the stadium or anything like that.
Yeah.
They've done what they've had to do and ban the supporters that are filming or on the bus. And like I say, can the Rangers now speak to this person and try to give them an education programme to go on to learn from the mistakes that they've made?
That's what I think should happen.
Yeah, and maybe, you know, the club then have to come out and speak to that person, that, you know, and the people that have been banned, and try and educate them. And that might be the best thing going forward. But you know, Rangers have acted in the right way by banning the supporters. It's not acceptable what they were singing and what they were said, and we have to move on from it. Yeah, just as a side issue, and it's nothing to do with I'm not going dealing whataboutery. I'm taking myself out of the situation with Kyogo. Yeah. Overall in Scottish football, I think, unfortunately, we have an element, because of social media and because of the rise of it, we have an element right across our footballing fans that leave a lot to be desired. I know that you suffered it with people singing about your sister, and you mentioned it on radio the other night there. Yeah. I think your take on it is quite interesting, though, that, you know, you're quite happy for yourself to be fair game, providing, I think, it's not to the abuse that Kyogo. Yeah. There's a line and a banter, yeah, but beyond that, I think it's bang out of order. Yeah, no, listen, I spoke on a programme the other day, and obviously had a bit of stick from it recently, from the back end of that, really, and people had made that I had no sympathy for Kyogo. I've got every sympathy for the lad coming to a new country like Ange. He's come in from Japan, different culture, and he's had to deal with imbeciles dealing with that situation, and it's hard for him, and Rangers have had to deal with that. But what I was saying is that as a player myself, I could take the flack. You know, Tam's took the flack, we've all took flack, individually could take it, but my situation was that people are singing songs, yeah, it's no, but you know, it's derogatory towards my sister, and I've got a young nephew who suffers from ADHD and a bit of autism, things like that, and he sat at the game on Sunday listening to it, and the Hibs supporters are singing it as well, and it's hard for his mind to register why the supporters are singing about his mum instead of me. I could take it for me as a person, and no problem. Yeah. But when it becomes the other family members, I think it's, you know, sometimes you can't just blame, like say in Scotland, it's about blame everybody else and try and deflect from what we're up to ourselves. So, no, it was disappointing, but that's part and parcel of football. We have to deal with it, and as a footballer, I dealt with it. But I just felt that it was important to speak about it, because there was other players in my team who won the Scottish Cup with Hibs, and some of the shouts that he got, words that I can't repeat on here, yeah, was vile. And he's supposed to be meant to be one of your heroes for winning the Scottish Cup, and they treated him like that, and that's when I felt, wow, it's a bit much, you know. Yeah. I think players can take a ribbing, but I don't think they have to take a ribbing that's derogatory to the point of abuse, Tam. Everybody can take a noise up, but not to the point where you cross that line. Yeah, definitely. You know, just because fans and fans are entitled to their opinion, but you can't just come into a stadium and sing whatever you want, you know, or shout whatever you want to people. You know, you wouldn't do that in the street. You know, and Charlie's right. You know, players, managers. You know, I'm sat at games at times and I hear people shouting stuff to managers and coaches and players, and what's going through your head to shout that? You know, it's as I just said, you can take a bit of banter, and I love the banter. I love that when I was playing. I've played on it. Aye. Like when I got off the, but there's a line you can't. When I got off the bus at Celtic Park and they booed and I filmed it. Yeah. Yeah, I was laughing and joking because I knew it was coming. It's fun and I could get that, but when you step the mark, step over it. Yeah. It's just I think there's a level there. I don't know if the word is geek or whatever, Ruffy, or whether I don't think I'm in any way unique. I know thousands upon thousands of my mates. I grew up with, you know, mates that I played, you know, and enjoyed playing amateur football with, who were
Rangers and Celtic fans, we loved the banter. I might be unique in the fact that I was taken to football matches by my mother, but I was taught and brought up that and saying there are two teams on the pitch. Go and enjoy the great players. And I'm lucky enough in my profession, I got to know some of them and got to do things, for some of them, hang about with a few of them. But we were taught to appreciate two teams on the pitch. So I could go to a game and watch two teams and think to myself, I can remember Mum saying, you're going to go and see a side today that if Celtic weren't dominating, they would have won 5 titles. And they were talking about the great Hibernian side, so you'd, Harriet, Blackley, Black, Shadler, John Brownlee, you had Jimmy O'Rourke, you had Edwards, you had Alan Gordon, you had Alec Cropley. What a team. Pat Stanton. That was a team. You could talk about the Rangers. Said I could rhyme off, great Peter McCloy in the goal, Sandy Jardine, John Gregg, Colin Jackson, Derek Johnston. Cutty Young, I can remember on the left-hand side. Tommy McLean floats the ball and Derek Johnson scores goals. Great players. Sandy Jardine for me, an absolute gem who worked with me. I'm not any different from a lot of really decent people who were brought up to appreciate two teams. I just went, when I was a youngster, I didn't want to go to a game and sing rebel songs. I certainly didn't want to go to a game and abuse people. I certainly didn't want to go and shout sectarian nonsense. Are we we're our voice, in those days, and the decent people who go and follow football, it's lost at the moment.
Yeah, but there is a certain element out there who think it's okay to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an era or where they come from or what they've been brought up in or what they see other people doing. I remember a supporter, I'm not going to say what team it was that he supported, but he actually went in front of the camera and said, look, I'm a decent guy, Monday to Friday. Yeah. But when I go to the game on a Saturday, I'm a bigot. I'm a 90-minute bigot. And he thought that was okay. He thought that was okay to come out with that. Because he's okay Monday to Friday, and he's got the licence to go to a game and be a bigot, he thought that was okay, you just have to deal with it. And there's certain people like that out there who think the same way, unfortunately, and they're the ones that I don't think you can do anything about. I know Charlie's got a right idea, they should be made do stuff. I don't think that would... Once it's steeped in them, you're not going to get it out of them.
Well, I've got a mate who's coming in tomorrow to see the new studios, who lives out in New York, Ruffy. He's in Scotland for a couple of weeks on holiday, and he's Jewish. And the amount of hours I speak to him and think, I don't understand people who are anti-Semitic, So it's not just about the poison we have in the west of Scotland. It's all over the place. But we have to talk about it when we're involved in football, which is, unfortunately, I think it taints our game tragically on a regular basis at the moment. On the positives, Lil Abada is in the top 100 youngsters in world football. Tam, there's the wee list there of players that have been quoted in it. Abada, I think at number 59, Musiala at Bayern Munich, Saka at Arsenal, Greenwood at Manchester United, and I like the number 1 there, Pedri at Barcelona. I'm not quite sure, Tam, he's got the same excitement that Messi had when he was breaking through, but he's still a great player.
Yeah, I don't think he's wanting to get entitled with the new Messi. I don't think anybody would want that, but great for Abada. Listen, he's come in, he's made a real impact at Celtic. A lot of money for it. I think he's only 18, 19 year old. I think 3.5, 4 million for him. People are going, that's a lot of money, but he's come in and he's scoring goals, he's creating chances for Celtic, he's looking good. And it might be in a year's time, I think 3.5 million, 4 million is a real bargain for him. So he's come in, hit the ground running, so you've got to say fair play to him, and hopefully he can work his way up that list. Yeah,
thanks to lots of people, lots of decent people who are sending messages to us. We're not all a bunch of goody two-shoes, we like a bit of banter, but we're just giving you our opinion on the situation which has tarnished our game here. And Fraser Annan says, Peter, I've gone through all that crap, happens to both sides. I've heard IRA songs about orange matches, all of that. It's all rubbish. I think when you go to a football match, you want to go and support your team as well, and behave yourself. Also, I'm looking here at Aberdeen against Qarabag. That's a game where we're hoping, I think we've gone, Ruffy's changed, Charlie, every now and then he's changing from 2, maybe 3 in, possibly 4. Tam's really positive about it. Aberdeen against Qarabag, only one goal in it. Aberdeen, the only downside to it is, and we'll hear right now from Stephen Glass, the only downside is that the club have lost Andrew Considine for a considerable amount of time.
With Andy went to see a specialist yesterday. He has today had his cruciate repaired, so he's going to be out beyond Christmas. It's something that he'll be able to get back from. He's a great professional, and we believe that he'll come back strong and ready to go not too long after Christmas, hopefully. Well, full marks to the boy if he does come back, by the way, because at the latter part of your playing career, you want it to last for as long as possible, but there was a nasty one, and I think all our thoughts are with Andrew Considine.
Yeah, I think to achieve what he's achieved at Aberdeen, playing over 500 games and then getting that Scotland call up, it was remarkable. And then sadly to get a cruciate ligament at his age, 34 years of age, is going to be tough. But he'll come back from it. It's just, you know, what level can he go and play again? Can he come and play in the Premier League again? We don't know. So I wish him all the best, because he's been a great servant to Aberdeen. But now it leaves Aberdeen a little bit short. They've got a few injuries now. You know, Hedges, Considine. So yeah, they might come back into the transfer market and bring a couple of players in. But you know, I think Aberdeen could try and get this through. And you know, I would say to myself, I thought it was only 2, maybe 3. I think Aberdeen can pull this back and they can get through in this. Yeah,
I actually, no disrespect to Andrew Considine, but because of his age prior to the injury on this programme, Tam, I thought they needed more strengthening in the central defensive area.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they let a couple go in the summer there, and I don't think they've replaced them. Obviously, it's a big blow for him and the team. I agree with Charlie, Aberdeen are getting quite a lot of injury just now, and it's very early in the season. I think Johnny Hayes came off injured at the weekend as well, so they signed Samuel, I think the striker from Wolves, which will give them added competition up front, but I think they need a couple of centre-halves in. They need one probably, now they need 2, so I'm like Charlie, I'm quite confident with this Aberdeen. I just think I feel Pittodrie. I think they can get through, I think they can win on the night. Again, it could, with the no away goals rule now, it's you're looking at extra time and penalties in a lot of these games, and I think that could be a 1-0 to Aberdeen or a 2-1 to Aberdeen and go to extra time as well, so hopefully they can get through.
You love your penalties, don't you?
I just think with the away goal rule scrapped,
you can have a go at it now,
you're going to see a lot of games going to extra time and penalties. I think if Qarabag came over here with 1-0 and scored, Aberdeen need 3. Yeah. You know, and now it's not that, it just need to win the game basically, Aberdeen, so I think you'll see a lot of games going to extra time and penalties, but hopefully Aberdeen can get through.
Yeah. The big thing for this now is, you know, but Dave McCormack came out last week and said, we want to go and challenge the Old Firm. You need to now go and put your money where your mouth is, and start bringing some players in. Yeah. So we'll see how much money he wants to go and spend and bring players in, because it just shows how good the Old Firm perform week in, week out, having Thursday, Sunday with the squads. Obviously they've got bigger squads, but when Aberdeen and St Johnstone start losing a couple of players, they're depleted, and it definitely takes its toll. Yeah, well, we talked about him early on in the season. Scott Brown is an Aberdeen player. If ever the Aberdeen players have got the message now, you know, it's 3 games without a win, and suddenly you're saying to yourself, you know, he'll be in there, they'll be looking, as Charlie mentioned there, Dave Cormack, get your money out, back the manager. But you've got to get a player of a certain standing that knows what it's like to be consistent.
Yeah, I think they'll be waiting to see how this tie goes. You know, obviously if they get through this tie, there's a wee bit of money to spend. You know, I have my doubts about this one. I mean, they've only scored, 2 goals in 3 games. You know, and I think this team will score. I think Joe Lewis had some tremendous saves in the previous game, so I just don't think Aberdeen have got 2 goals in them, and I think this team will score. Yeah,
the other thing I was going to say to you, Ruffy, now, the next thing we're going to hear from is Callum Davidson. Now, I don't want, after the Callum Davidson clip, to you come back rolling about laughing on the couch, because that would be derogatory, and I think would be a sad reflection on the way you think over the last 30 to 40 years.
And where is he now?
No, Callum Davidson just mentioned, he's just saying that if they could get through against Lask, the achievement of reaching Europe is far more valuable than the money for him and the players.
Probably one of the biggest ones, I think probably more financially for the club rather than for myself. I think it'd be great to get into group stages and something we want to do. I think for the club it's huge. You know, I think it's everybody sort of well documenting the money side of it. But for me and the players, I think it's more about achievement rather than, the money. I think is we want to get there. We want to be one of the first teams, teams from St Johnstone, from Perth actually, to get into European football, into league stages all the way through to Christmas. So, yeah, it's a massive game.
Yeah, Ruffy, it's all about the prestige, nothing to do with the money for the players and the manager.
No, I think the money comes in here.
Come on, Ruffy.
They're going to get rewarded for getting into group stages.
They know that.
They're going to get the
but
money.
They're not going to go out there thinking about it. They're going out there, trying to be a St Johnstone team that gets into group stages. That is, and then you take whatever money's going to boot. You've got to. You don't want to be at a club that say to you, you get success and we'll look after you, because I've heard that a few times in my career. When you beat somebody and then all of a sudden they look after you, but it's not what you should have got. I mean, that's just part and parcel. But I mean, the St Johnstone boys have had so much success over the last couple of years that this would be the icing, getting into group stages.
Yeah, I thought Galatasaray was going to be difficult. It would have taken something special when you consider the budget of Galatasaray, the players that they had available. This one is on a knife edge. I don't know. I've got a feeling that I'm trying to. Tam's optimism of 4 teams. I'm thinking 3, but I'd love to see 4 with St Johnstone doing it.
Yeah, listen, for Scottish football, I'd love to see it, but you remember this team being beat from Man United and beat from Tottenham in the last couple of years in the Europa League. So they're no mugs. Technically, they'll be good. So it'll be a tough game for St Johnstone. I just think this will be a step too far now, and I think this last team could beat St Johnstone.
Yeah. So Celtic, Rangers, and Aberdeen for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ruffy?
Celtic, Rangers.
You're still staying at 2.
Yep.
You were at 3 the other day there.
Yeah, I'll
change your mind.
I just altered a wee bit.
Yeah. Are you all right? Do you know, I'm looking at you. You've got the straightest face ever on the programme today, which tells me you've got sunstroke.
I was struggling here now. Factor 30.
Yeah.
I think that Rangers are a certainty to go through. I think Celtic will just go through, and I think Aberdeen will go through. St Johnstone, I don't think they'll go through. I hope they do.
You change your mind?
Yeah, I hope they do. But I'm thinking Lask will beat them.
What happened in the last 24 hours?
I don't know. I've just changed my mind.
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay, there you are.
Maybe it's just Callum Davidson. He needs to get a new place to do his interviews. That toilet these days it does it for him. It's just not doing it for him.
You're not happy with it. Charlie, what did you make of the Scotland squad? I mean, there were a few players that are not in there. Some people were pushing for Anthony Ralston, some Jambos pushing for John Souttar. What did you make of that?
I think the Souttar ones, I think it's the right decision, because he's been out the last few years with injuries and gives him now time to rest the injury, and if he is performing still in the next international break, maybe to bring him in. I think we've got plenty of cover at the centre-back situation. Yeah.
Plenty good cover?
We've got cover,
right.
So that's enough. But Lewis Ferguson in, I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
Why?
It's another level, it's another step up.
You don't think he's good enough?
I don't want to say he's not good enough, but there's players out there and that I think, we talk about linked for 3 and 4 million quid into the Premier League. I don't see it personally, but that's my opinion. He's all man will be cursing me, but he's obviously bumping his gums to try and get him some more money up at Aberdeen. So no, I'm surprised, but yeah, Steve makes that decision. Ralston has done well, but I don't think he's in the same league as Patterson. So no, I think I'm not surprised. Xander Clark in deserves it. Liam Kelly deserves it. So yeah, there's a few surprises for me.
Yeah, and with that in mind, I think backing up what Charlie said there regarding Ralston and Souttar, I think Steve Clarke wants to see them be consistently playing top flight football.
Yeah, great to see Big John back and doing well for Hearts. I think for John is a case of letting him settle in, get a run of matches and keep improving on his game and his fitness. I like John. I like him as a player and I like him as a person. Tony Ralston's come into the Celtic team and done great. He's one of the ones that's really benefited from the new style of playing for Celtic, the way they're playing. But I think for Tony Ralston, it's a case of continuing that and seeing if he can keep in the team or stay in the team for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah, big question there. Tony Ralston getting all the plaudits, and rightly so, for his performances so far. John Souttar, I'd love to see him obviously get a run of games without any injuries, because he's one of those players that can actually play out from the back as well. Fingers crossed he avoids injury. Lots of football still to talk about. You can give us your thoughts on it, whether you think it's going to be 1, 2, 3 or 4 clubs from Scotland in the draw on Friday morning. Give us your thoughts on that. Don't forget, we've got the competition running. Tell us whether you want to win a Celtic or a Rangers top, and you have to hit that subscribe button as well. We'd love to have you on board joining the football family, our audience now exclusively on YouTube. There'll be lots of competitions, lots of little features. We'll be live on Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning, looking ahead to the Old Firm game, Rangers against Celtic. But that is just getting slightly ahead of ourselves. Hopefully you can join us for that. But we've got the small matter of European football to consider here, and other issues down south. Who'd have thought? Big U-turn. Harry Kane staying at Tottenham. Did you see that one coming?
I think that was the only option, wasn't it? You know, when Daniel Davies said that he won't be going, it's very difficult to get out of Tottenham. Joe Lewis has probably got involved as well, the owner of Tottenham. So
more money involved?
We'll probably see him sign a new contract. You know, especially when you have Man City at the moment now, you've got Mbappe at a contract next summer. Lewandowski looks like he wants a new challenge. It's probably easier to get them than it is Harry Kane. So, listen, he's done his talking. He wanted out, can't get out, and he's had to come and apologise really, and moves on from it. And I expect Harry Kane to go and bang 25 goals in the Premier League next year. Yeah,
here's the tweet just to enlighten everybody of what his plans were. It was incredible to see the reception from the Spurs fans on Sunday, and to read some of the messages of support I've had in the last few weeks. I will be staying at Tottenham this summer, and will be 100% focused on helping the team achieve success. All's well that ends well.
Do you know what the key word there in that statement is?
This summer.
Yeah.
This summer.
He didn't say season. I'm happy to be staying at Tottenham this summer. He never said season, so he's maybe going away in January then.
Yeah. Who knows? He's there.
He's there.
He can't get his wishes. The one thing it does tell you is if you ain't got it in black and white, you ain't got it, because quite simply,
gentleman's agreement or something with
as soon
leaving.
as somebody said gentleman's agreement, the game's up.
Yeah, I don't think he's had it in writing, has he? He's just maybe said to him, listen, we'll let you go for X amount of money. But it'll be interesting to see what Man City do. I think Man City need to sign a striker. I think they need a striker.
Well, could Ronaldo do the dirty, Tam? Could Ronaldo, who wants out of Juventus, join Manchester City? I can't see it.
As this great man says, money talks.
Yep.
Yeah, they've got it.
Well, I accept that. Can you see it?
I can see it coming. I can see it. I think Man City need a striker. I don't think, you know, Jesus. Who else have they got there? Nothing really. A main striker. I think they need a goal scorer in there, and Ronaldo's a goal scorer. So I'd love to see him in that. I'd love to see Ronaldo in that team with Foden and boys like that, Grealish all sitting behind him. I think he'd get about 40 gols.
Yeah.
Even at this stage of his career.
Do you not think there's a wee chance that he could end up at PSG?
Well, it depends on where if Mbappe goes, doesn't it? And if I'm Mbappe, I'm saying like Ruffy, they've offered what 137 million. Just sit for an hour a year, play with Messi, and you just load yourself up with that 137 million.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is Mbappe's dilemma.
Real Madrid have made a €160 million bid for Kylian Mbappe from Paris Saint-Germain, and if successful, the deal could trigger a domino effect of huge moves before the transfer window ends. If PSG lose their golden boy, they will look to replace him despite their embarrassment of riches in the shape of Lionel Messi and Neymar. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo wants out of Juventus, and PSG are one of the only clubs who could afford his wages. It would create the greatest all-star team in history. Surely everyone would love to see that. Now, Juve would then have some money to spend and wages freed as well, so they could turn their attention to Erling Haaland of Borussia Dortmund, having been long-term admirers. Or perhaps another creative player in the shape of Bernardo Silva, who was linked with a transfer to Turin earlier this week, possibly even in a swap with Ronaldo. Silva is keen to leave Manchester after they purchased Jack Grealish, and he'll only sign for a club with Champions League football. That would mean City may have enough money to push their pursuit of Harry Kane over the line, although the England captain has just stated he will be staying at Spurs this summer. And how about Spurs? If they lose their talisman, they'll have to replace him, and Real Madrid would have to sell one of their forwards. And with Luka Jovic firmly in the shop window, could he swap the white of Madrid for the white of North London? Of course, this is all hypothetical, but which of these moves would you most like to see happen?
Yeah, the transfer merry-go-round, but they're dealing in figures, Ruffy, now that, you know, we can't even comprehend.
No, I'd love to see the contract. I'd love to see what's in it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see all the clauses, and I'd love to see the demands and everything, because things have moved on so much now. It will be unbelievable, you know, what's in there and what the agent obviously can negotiate. But these clubs have got so much money, you know, that remains to be seen if they actually say no to anything, if they really want the player.
Yeah, I mean, did you, when you were going down to England, did it become more complicated, the contract, Charlie? I mean, I'm not exactly turning around and saying that you would be bogged down in image rights and everything like that, but there are certain things that go into it.
That was in the contract.
Yeah.
From Blackpool to Liverpool. It was obviously image rights things, but it was just the figure was there, and that's what the players and the agent will be looking at.
Yeah.
What is the figure? What's the weekly salary? And for Mbappe, you might have to pay, I don't know, $500,000 a week or something for him. And
see, when that contract came in for Blackpool to Liverpool,
mm-hmm.
did you just look at it and go, I can't believe this?
It was good.
Yeah.
What? Because from what I was earning to what they proposed, you know, I had a figure that I'd be happy with, and it was a little bit more. And listen.
Did you haggle? Did you try and push out and haggle?
No, I tried to. I tried to haggle.
Did your agent throw your name in a couple of clubs just to bump it up?
I tried to haggle, but
did you feel in any way in awe of the move, or were you just thinking, I'm here, I deserve to be here?
No, I felt I deserved to be there in the performance that I had at Blackpool, and I felt that I can contribute to the Premier League and to Liverpool, and was lucky that I got that move, and it was great.
Yeah, who did you enjoy the most there, Charlie? It was always good to get a wee insight from you.
In what the terms of
playing
what?
in the team,
I just think,
was there a player you thought he's better than I thought?
Suarez was incredible. You know, he just trained and played, you know, the same as he did on a Saturday. Him and Carragher used to kick lumps at each other, but it was all in good jest, you know.
Yeah.
Stevie was, you can see he was the best player, and he was the main man, and everybody wanted to not please him, but you know, you knew that he was the top player. But the big thing about him was that he was so, you know, relaxed and was so welcoming and such a humble person to be around, and that's the one thing I was taking. I say to people say to me, what's it like at the top? I says, the best thing about being at the top is the players that are so humble and driven to be successful and win trophies. The money is just, it comes because that's part of being the best player, but he was so down to earth and humble, and it was a pleasure to be able to share the pitch. Just never done it enough because he had a few injuries, but yeah, just being around the place was a great club to be at.
Was it painful to leave?
It was difficult, it was difficult just because of the conversation I had to have with Brendan, that they needed the money, and looking back I probably should have stayed, but decisions you make in your football career, because you wanted to play, I want to play every week, and that was the decision I made. Listen, I had a good career at Stoke and had a great 7 years there, but no, it was a great year of my career.
I thought you had a great time. I mean, that was 2 contracts at Stoke. I mean, I thought you had a great time. I thought I didn't think in any way that you looked out of place in the Premier League. No,
and unfortunately for me, at the time when we got relegated, that probably was the end for me. I should have left when we got relegated, but I had a good contract in the Championship. A couple of managers tried to get rid of me, but
you stuck it.
I had to stick it out, because at the end of the day I worked so hard for that contract that I didn't think it was right to leave, and eventually I left and I went to Reading. But no, I had great times at Stoke. It's a great club, so for anybody who gets the opportunity to go there, it's great people, great owner, and no, I was delighted when I was there. Yeah, was there a club, Ruffy, that you wish? I mean,
I only had one move.
Yeah.
I had one move away back in, what was it, 80 or something like that, and I'd never negotiated any deals because we didn't have agents or anything. Like, you just went in and just signed it. And the Hibs one, when it came on, Peter Cormack was the manager, and he said, look, Hibs have offered a certain amount for you, and the club have accepted it. You have to go through and meet Kenny Walk in a hotel. He's at a boxing night.
Who Bertie said to you?
No, Peter Cormack it was.
It was Peter Cormack, the manager of Thistle. All right.
And Peter obviously being with Liverpool, you know, I said, look, I've never had a move before. You've been at Liverpool and blah, blah, blah. They want me to sign a 3-year deal. I don't have an agent. What do you think I should be looking for? And he went, 3 years, 15 grand. You know, and 50 grand then was a lot of money. And I went, fan dabby dozy. So I drove away through there. Kenny Walk came into a room in the hotel. And he goes, could we make this as quick as possible? I'm sponsoring the next boxing do. And he says, what about signing on fee? And I was just about to go, 15, and he went, it's 40, all right. I actually walked out of the room, never even discussed wages. I never even discussed wages and expenses.
Tell a story about, you heard the one about Seth Johnson?
Yes, it's a fantastic story. You've got to tell it, Charlie, for football fans who love it.
Seth Johnson's at Derby and he's going to Leeds.
Yep.
And he goes
Ridsdale,
Peter Ridsdale, and he's talking to his agent and he's happy. He's going, right, we'll go in and we'll ask for 25 grand a week. And he goes in there and Peter Ridsdale shows him the contract and the agent, and it slips it over, and it's 40 grand a week. And he looks at the player and he's to Seth Johnson, he says, I think we might need to, can we have a word outside in that? And Peter Ridsdale obviously panicking, thinking, oh, it's not enough or whatever. And he said, I think we should sign that, shouldn't we? And he worked back in straight in, signed the contract, and he was hoping to go for 25 and end up with 40. So
magnificent.
I got a better one than that. I was sharing a room with David Speedy in a golf day, and I'm trying to think what way it went, Chelsea to Liverpool or Liverpool to Chelsea. Anyway, Kenny Dalglish called him in, you know, and he said, look, we want a player for Chelsea and we want you to go to Chelsea. And David Speedy said, I'm just staying here, I'm quite happy to fight for my place. He said, no, we really need this player. So he left it a week and he came back in, and Kenny said, look, we need you to go. And he said, what's in it for me? And he went, well, 100,000? Nah, I want more than that. So he went away again. About 2 or 3 weeks later, they really wanted this player. And he came back into the room and Kenny said, see that plastic bag over there, there's 250 grand in it. Just take it and get out. And he picked it up and he walked out with the bag.
Yeah. I think the offer was in the bag, maybe not the 250 grand. Some size of a bag, actually, allegedly. Tam, you can't top that, can you? Is it a club you wish you'd stayed at a wee bit longer?
Hibs probably,
yeah.
But I couldn't, because I signed 13 years worth of contracts at Hibs before I was 23.
Is that right?
So when when Tony Mowbray came in as the manager, I was the highest paid player at Hibs, and if I played, I was getting my salary was the same as my parents' money, so they couldn't afford me. But what I should have done was I should have renegotiated it and took less of your parents' money and maybe took a wage cut, because I was playing, and I started off the season playing with Tony Mowbray, and then
would you have been in a better side that you would have?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I got a bit of bad advice from an agent. I ended up going to Dundee, no offence, Charlie, instead of going to Motherwell, because Dundee offered me more money. Yeah. Dundee were bottom of the league at the time, and Motherwell were third in the league, and Terry Butcher.
Your skullduggery.
Terry Butcher left me a voicemail, which I wish I'd saved it. It was 5 minutes of
thing it's hard, like in Scottish football, in terms it's hard, because the money in Scottish football is not what you are earning in England. So at that time, you have to go where the money is, and this might sound greedy, but you need to go to look after your family. Because in Scotland it's very difficult to...
And you're fortunate enough, way back in the days of old, you had a 4-year with a 4-year option.
Jim McLean's
4-year option.
Well, I know that. I know that. I mean, there are some good, funny stories about it, but they're funny yet painful for the people who are telling them with regards to these contracts. But it's all good fun, and it's great talking about some of these great players down through the years. Thanks to so many of you for putting messages up. Lots of nice messages of support to Gordon Wallace. As ever, we have to talk about some difficult subjects. Every now and then we will scurry through as many as we possibly can. Anybody who is abusive on our feed, we'll try and ban as many as possible, but there are more important things in life than worrying about people who clearly have not got the same upbringing and decency as yourself. I think 95% of the people who watch the programme are thoroughly decent football fans, and we absolutely embrace you. Tell your mates, if they are of the same build and structure as yourself, to come along and join the football family. Hit the subscribe button as well. You can follow us on our Facebook page. There's lots of great content in there, breaking stories. And if you want to, if you're a man who lives by his phone, which I know quite a couple of people here do, get on the PLZ Soccer app, download it. It's got all the breaking stories, and if you hit submissions, you can actually record yourself with your comment, and if we feature it on the show, we'll send you out something nice. If you don't get the show live at 4 o'clock, don't forget you can watch it at your leisure on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, not only on the app, but on your big telly as well. Smart tellies have YouTube there. It's garlic bread. It's the future. It's as simple as that, Tam. Everybody knows how to get onto the digital platforms. Hopefully you can stick with us on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. We're going to be live 10 o'clock on Sunday morning ahead of Rangers against Celtic. But tomorrow, Hugh McDonald will be with Ruffy and myself to discuss all things European football. Rangers will be kicking off just as we're on air, and we'll also focus on, fingers crossed, Aberdeen, St Johnstone and Celtic, all 4 clubs hopefully making it through, so that Charlie and Tam can come back in here on Friday with a huge smile on their face. Thanks to Tam McManus, thanks to Charlie, Adam, Alan Ruff, and from myself, Peter Martin. Thanks to you for sticking with us and watching us today.